Get ready, coin collectors and treasure hunters hidden in plain sight. These rare UK Elizabeth V new pence coins aren't just your everyday change, they are some of the rarest and most valuable coins in the world. From tiny minting errors to unique design. This is the real story of the unbelievably rare 1968 UK Elizabeth V new pence coin, a piece that marked the beginning of a new monetary era and accidentally created one of the most valuable modern British minting mistakes ever known. If you're holding an old jar of British coins, a dusty tin from your parents' attic, or even a handful of pocket change from decades ago, don't move. Because right now, you might be sitting on one of the most shocking and jaw-dropping discoveries in UK coinage history. The story of the 1968 5 new pence begins with a major milestone in British history: decimalization. The Royal Mint was preparing for one of the biggest financial transitions the UK had ever seen, and 1968 became the very first year the new decimal coins entered circulation. That meant this small coin wasn't just another piece of currency, it was a symbol of an entirely new system. One of the rarest types of errors connected to the 1968 5 new pence is the wrong planchet strike. Imagine the coin being accidentally struck on the wrong metal, maybe a leftover blank from an earlier denomination or a different coin size entirely. These wrong metal errors are among the most valuable mistakes in all modern UK coinage, and if a 1968 5 new pence exists on a foreign or mis-sized planchet, its value could skyrocket into the tens of thousands instantly. Some collectors even speculate that an example on a rare nickel, brass or bronze blank could go into six-figure territory at auction. And because 1968 was a transitional year, the likelihood of misfed blanks and test strikes escaping the mint is much higher than in later years. Another major category to watch for is double strikes, coins struck twice because the blank wasn't ejected properly. When this happens, the Queen's portrait or the 5 new pence lettering can appear doubled, shadowed, or stretched. Even a mild double strike can fetch hundreds or thousands, but a dramatic one where the second strike is misaligned could be worth £10,000 to £40,000 depending on clarity and eye appeal. Then there are off-center strikes, where the design is pushed toward the edge, leaving a visible blank crescent on the coin. A 1968 off-center 5 new pence, especially one showing at least 20 to 40% off-center, can sell for thousands of pounds, and an extreme off-center could easily exceed £15,000 or more. And if the coin is both off-center and double-struck, well. But the most legendary and desirable error connected to the 1968 5 new pence is the wrong die pairing, a truly rare accident where the obverse of one denomination is paired with the reverse of another. Because the Royal Mint was testing new dies, new machines, the value would be jaw-dropping. We're talking £50,000 to over £100,000, and if the error is unique, possibly even £250,000 or more. Unique first-year issue errors often become the crown jewels of an entire decimal collection. The rarest minting mistakes on the incredible 1970 UK Elizabeth V new pence coin. If you've ever wondered whether an ordinary-looking British coin could secretly be worth a fortune, life-changing money, then stop everything and listen closely. Because right now, tucked away in old jars, forgotten drawers, biscuit tins, and dusty photo albums across the UK, there might be a tiny silver-colored coin from 1970 hiding a secret that could rewrite everything you thought you knew about coin collecting. The 1970 UK Elizabeth V new pence belongs to the second wave of decimal coinage. While the first wave in 1968 introduced the brand new decimal system, 1970 was a year of refinement, preparation, and enormous pressure. It was the final year before full decimalization came into effect in February 1971, and because of that, the Royal Mint was operating at a record-breaking pace. Dies were being tested, new blanks were being prepared, old machinery was being retired, and new equipment was being calibrated. Let's begin with one of the rarest and most powerful error types, the wrong planchet strike. Imagine the 1970 UK Elizabeth V new pence being accidentally struck on the wrong metal, perhaps a leftover bronze blank from a penny, a thicker blank from a foreign coin, or even a lighter alloy disc intended for a different denomination. Wrong planchet errors from this era can be astronomical in value. Even a basic wrong metal strike could be worth £10,000 to £40,000, and an extreme example, especially one proven to be struck on a rare blank, could soar into six-figure territory. If a unique wrong planchet 1975 new pence error were discovered, it could easily become a £200,000 to £500,000 coin, possibly higher depending on collector demand. Another incredibly valuable category is the double strike, where the coin is hit twice by the press due to a mechanical misfeed. For double strikes from transitional years like 1970 because they are significantly scarcer than errors from later decades. A crisp, clear, misaligned double strike on a 1975 new pence could easily reach £15,000 to £50,000, and if combined with high grade and visual appeal, even more. Then we have the highly desirable off-center strike, where the design is pushed toward the edge of the coin, leaving a blank crescent. A mild off-center error might bring £200 to £1,000, but a dramatic 30 to 50% off-center example can fetch £5,000 to £20,000. Now let's talk about struck-through errors, where foreign materials like wire, metal filings, lint, grease, or cloth fibers get pressed into the coin during minting. These errors create fascinating depressions or ghost-like imprints that collectors find irresistible. Mild struck-through errors are worth £2,000 to £3,000, but dramatic ones, especially those that distort the Queen's portrait, can sell for £2,000 to £15,000, depending on severity and uniqueness. This is the unbelievable but true story of the 1971 UK Elizabeth V new pence coin, one of the most explosive and valuable early decimal minting mistakes collectors are desperately trying to find. If you've ever held an old British coin and wondered whether it could secretly be worth a fortune, get ready, because what you're about to hear might be the most shocking discovery in modern UK coin collecting. Hidden inside drawers, biscuit tins, old jars, and forgotten family boxes across the country, there are tiny silver-colored coins. Completely ordinary on the surface. So before you throw away old change, before you ignore that dusty tin from your childhood home, and before you assume any 5p is worthless, listen carefully. Because the 1971 issue is not just any coin. It is the first full year of decimal circulation in the United Kingdom. It marks the moment when Britain officially abandoned centuries of pre-decimal currency and stepped into a brand new system. That alone makes 1971 historic. Let's start with one of the most powerful and valuable categories, the wrong planchet error. This happens when the 1971 UK Elizabeth V new pence is accidentally struck on the wrong metal blank, maybe a bronze penny blank, a foreign coin blank, or a mis-sized alloy disc left in the machinery. These wrong metal strikes are extremely rare and highly sought after. A basic wrong planchet example could bring £10,000 to £30,000, but a dramatic or unique one can explode into, and if a perfect, unique wrong planchet 1971 5 new pence is ever confirmed, especially one struck on a rare blank, the value could realistically reach, or in a bidding war even approach, £1 million territory. Next comes the thrilling double strike error, where the coin is hit twice because the blank wasn't properly ejected. Some double strikes are barely noticeable, but others are dramatic off-center, overlapping, or stretching the design. Mild double strikes might fetch £200 to £1,000, but a strong misaligned double strike can easily command £5,000 to £25,000, and exceptional examples can exceed £50,000. Double strikes from the first full year of decimal circulation are exceptionally rare, and collectors will pay top prices for visually impressive pieces. Then we have the popular and highly collectible off-center strike. When the blank doesn't sit properly in the collar, the design shifts toward the edge, leaving part of the coin blank. A 10 to 20% off-center error might bring, while a 30 to 50% off-center example can soar into £5,000 to £20,000. Extreme off-center strikes, especially those showing a huge crescent gap and a full portrait, can command or more, depending on condition. Another major error collectors hunt is the broad strike, fetch £100 to £300, but a large, impressive one can reach £3,000 to £10,000. Combined errors like broad strike plus off-center can fetch five-figure sums easily. The 1979 era UK Elizabeth V new pence coin, imagine holding a tiny silver coin in your hand. It looks ordinary. It looks like every other small British coin you've ever seen. But what if this tiny piece of metal, this little, so unbelievable, that it could turn a coin worth 5 pence into something, because the truth is, hidden inside the world of British decimal coins, the rarest and most valuable treasures. The year was 1979. The Royal Mint was deep into its post-decimalization production years. Millions of 5 new pence coins flowed out of the presses, each one carrying the iconic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II by Arnold Machin, her familiar right-facing profile, wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. On the reverse, Christopher Ironside's crowned Scottish thistle. Clean. Sharp. British to the core. These coins were workhorses. They were made to be spent, lost, stacked in vending machines, rattled in pockets. Let's start with one of the most visually striking errors, the off-center strike. When the blank doesn't sit correctly between the dies, the entire design can shift dramatically. On a 1979 5 new pence, this means the Queen's portrait may be moved toward the rim, leaving blank metal on the opposite side. Or the thistle may be pushed so far over that it looks like it's falling off the coin. These off-center strikes are rare, very rare, and collectors love them because you can see the mistake instantly. Light off-center examples can sell for £200 to £500, but heavy off-center pieces 40%, 50%, or more can jump into the A. Dramatic off-center 1979 piece could easily bring £5,000 or more, especially in mint state condition. But even rarer and more valuable is the double strike error. This occurs when the coin is struck twice by the die, with the second strike misaligned by just enough to produce a ghosted or doubled image. On a 1979 Elizabeth II 5 new pence, this can produce a doubled date, doubled lettering, or even a haunting double portrait of the Queen. These coins look almost surreal, as if the design is shaking. High-quality double strike errors from 1979 have reached £1,000 to £5,000, with exceptional examples pushing higher. A crisp, dramatic double strike in uncirculated condition could easily enter the 5-figure range. Then we have the rarest type of mint mistake of them all, the wrong planchet error. This is the kind of error that makes collectors and auction houses go absolutely wild. A wrong planchet: the coin was struck on the wrong metal blank, maybe a blank meant for a penny, a foreign coin. Clipped planchet errors are also well known among collectors. These occur when the blank is miscut, leaving a curved or straight chunk missing from the rim. On a 1979 issue, a dramatic curved clip can fetch £1,000 to £5,000, and multiple clips, double or triple clipped pieces, can rise into the thousands. The rare 1980 era UK Elizabeth 5 new pence coin. You will never look at your change the same way again. Imagine picking up a small silver coin from an old drawer, a dusty jar, or a forgotten box of loose change. It feels light, ordinary. These coins were never meant to exist. These are the mistakes the Royal Mint tried to stop, tried to destroy, tried to keep from ever reaching the public. But a few escaped. And today, those mistakes can turn an ordinary person into a legendary coin finder. So stay with me until the very last second, because once you discover, the year 1980 was a routine one for the Royal Mint. Millions of 5 new pence coins poured from the presses, each carrying Arnold Machin's classic portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. The reverse displayed the familiar crowned Scottish thistle, a simple and elegant design by Christopher Ironside. These coins circulated everywhere. They were used in buses, shops, arcades, vending machines, everywhere you can imagine. To the average Brit, they were nothing special. But hidden inside that year's production were mistakes so rare, so bizarre, and so valuable that they have become treasures hunted by collectors all over the world. One of the most iconic 1980 errors is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank is not properly positioned between the dies, causing the design to shift dramatically to one side. On a 1980 Elizabeth II 5 new pence, this can result in huge blank areas of metal where the design is missing, or in distorted portraits and partial thistles. These errors are instantly recognizable and extremely desirable. A mildly off-center 1980 coin can sell for £200 to £300, or more. But a heavily off-center example, 40%, 50%, even 60% off alignment, can rocket into the thousands of pounds. The more extreme the error, the higher the value. A perfectly preserved, dramatic off-center strike from 1980 could realistically sell for £5,000 to £10,000, especially if it's uncirculated. But even more valuable are double strike errors. Doubled lettering, a doubled thistle, or even two overlapping portraits of Queen Elizabeth II. These coins look surreal, almost like the design is vibrating. Collectors absolutely love them. A clean, sharp double strike from 1980 can command £1,000 to £5,000, and examples in mint state condition can soar far beyond that. A dramatic, perfectly visible double strike could easily break £10,000 or more. A confirmed wrong planchet 1980 Elizabeth V new pence could easily sell for £20,000 to £50,000 depending on the planchet. But a unique example, something absolutely extraordinary, especially one in perfect condition, could explode in value. It is not unrealistic to imagine a rare 1980 wrong planchet piece selling for or even reaching the £1 million mark at a high-profile auction.